Well, Donald Trump is officially tapping out and admitting defeat regarding his appointment of his former personal attorney, Alina Habba, to be the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey. After multiple courts struck down her appointment as unlawful, she has tendered her resignation, much to the dismay of Trump, MAGA, and everybody in Trump's orbit. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Here's Fox News breaking the news.
Thank you, Sandra.
All right, John.
All right. Fox News alert now, Sandra. Interim U.S. Attorney for the state of New Jersey, Alina Habba, has resigned. Attorney General Pam Bondi says that she has accepted Habba's resignation after the Third Circuit Court's decision disqualifying Habba from serving, a decision that Bondi says is flawed. Habba will continue to work at the DOJ as a senior advisor and adds in a social media post of her own. She said this, quote, "While I was focused on delivering real results, judges in my state took advantage of a flawed blue slip tradition and became weapons for the politicized left. For months, these judges stopped conducting trials and entering sentences, leaving violent criminals on the streets. They joined New Jersey senators who care more about fighting President Trump than the well-being of residents, which they serve." So the Garden State will say goodbye to Alina Habba, but she will be at the DOJ here in D.C., I would assume. Sandra?
So salty. Again, courts getting slapped down by courts left, right, and center. It's so glorious. So glorious. We're going to read a resignation letter in its totality in just a moment. Midas Touch reporting breaking. Alina Habba is finally stepping down from her role as U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey after the Third Circuit affirmed her disqualification. So let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Statement from Alina Habba, acting U.S. Attorney and Special Attorney to the United States Attorney General. She says, obviously take all this with a grain of salt because she's full of shit, much like her bosses. She says, "For the past 5 years, I fought for justice on behalf of the American people, and in my tenure under our great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, we made New Jersey safer. Camden had its first murder-free summer in 50 years. We drove down crime, took violent offenders off the streets, caught terrorists, and put away child predators. While I was focused on delivering real results, judges in my state took advantage of a flawed blue slip tradition and became weapons for the politicized left. For months, these judges stopped conducting trials and entering sentences, leaving violent criminals on the streets. They joined New Jersey senators who care more about fighting Donald Trump than the well-being of residents they serve. For 4 years, I fought against lawfare aimed at Donald Trump and against politics infecting our justice system. What these obstructionists misunderstood is that my loyalty is not to politics, a title, or a zip code. It is to this great country. As a result of the Third Circuit's ruling, and to protect the stability and integrity of the office which I love, I've decided to step down in my role as the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, but do not mistake compliance for surrender. The decision will not weaken the Justice Department, and it will not weaken me. My fight will now stretch across the country. As we wait for further review of the court's rulings, I will continue to serve the Department of Justice as the senior advisor to the Attorney General for U.S. attorneys. Make no mistake, you can take the girl out of New Jersey, but you cannot take New Jersey out of the girl. New Jersey doesn't want you. New Jersey does not want you at all. And it's just so funny to see how salty they are that they're forced to comply with legal decisions. They tried to unlawfully keep Alina Habba. Now, she's referring to the blue slip tradition. That's a tradition in which senators from a specific state can effectively veto a presidential nominee, right? So it's not in the Constitution. It's just a decades-old tradition that has been bipartisanly upheld. It's a way, effectively, to give deference to senators from a particular state. And in theory, you know, Republicans would want to keep it because under a Democratic president, the Republican senators of, let's say, Alabama might not want a President Obama, President Biden to make certain nominees to their states. The blue slip tradition can be done away with, and it has been changed by Republicans. In 2017, when Donald Trump was first elected, Republicans had the Senate majority, and they changed the blue slip rule for circuit judges because this also applied to circuit judges at the time. And in order to allow Trump to cram through his circuit court nominees, they broke the blue slip rule and say we will no longer be observing it. It was successful for a time. Then when President Biden got into office and Democrats won control of the Senate, they kept that rule change. Hey, you guys took the blue slip away for circuit court judges, so we're going to keep that rule off, and we're going to cram our circuit court judges into these positions over your objection. And Republicans were pissed. No, No, we get to change the rules for our political expedience, but you can't do that. You need to change it back. You need to change it back to the way it was before we changed it in the first place. And to their credit, Senate Democrats gave them the finger and said no. They should have been, I think, more condescending and mocking about it. But still, kudos to them for not walking it back. But it was just so funny to see the Republicans get hoisted by their own petard. Now, blue slips still exist for district judges and indeed U.S. attorneys as well. Okay? It's possible that Senate Republicans will abolish the blue slip rule, but they've hesitated to do so now because they did it under Trump and that they didn't like when turnabout was fair play. So they are hesitating this time. Like, hey, we did this. We did this for circuit court judges, and then Democrats were able to hit us back. We didn't like it, so maybe we should just not do it. That's why Alina Habba has resigned in disgrace from this role. CNN has more reporting on it. Alina Habba, Trump's former personal attorney, resigned Monday as the acting U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey following an appeals court ruling finding that she was serving in her position unlawfully. The Justice Department said Habba's duties will be split between 3 people. In a statement shared on X, Attorney General Pam Bondi said the Justice Department will seek further review of the ruling deeming Habba's appointment unlawful and that she will return to the position if it's reversed. Habba's announcement comes 1 week after a panel of appellate judges from the Third Circuit Court of Appeals found the Trump administration violated the law when it used a series of maneuvers to install her in the position after failing to win Senate support. On Sunday, Habba told CNN at the Kennedy Center Honors that she'd be making an announcement soon, which obviously she did this morning. But I think obviously it's a big problem what we have going on. It's a problem for all sides of the coin and for justice, she said, referring to the recent appeals court ruling. Quote, we'll keep fighting, we'll keep fighting, we'll keep pushing, whatever we have to do. Habba was the first of Trump's U.S. attorney appointments to face a legal court challenge, but since then, 3 other U.S. attorneys were found to be serving unlawfully. Judges have rejected the Justice Department's process, which they found to be an effort by the Trump administration to usurp the traditional appointments process. The maneuver of tapping a series of acting U.S. attorneys, judges have said, would allow a presidential appointee to indefinitely serve without Senate confirmation, indefinitely. Again, that's the Trump administration for you, right? So good on these judges for saying, no, there's a process and you need to stick to it. And again, as we discussed in a previous video, Trump railing about the blue slip process or the requirement that home state senators approve presidential appointments to roles including U.S. attorney. Quote, we have about 7 U.S. attorneys who are not going to be able to keep their jobs much longer because of the blue slip, Trump told reporters. But I guess I just have to keep appointing people for 3 months and then appoint another one. And it's a very sad situation. We're losing great people. Judges across the country have made similar rulings, including against Lindsay Halligan, the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, who brought the criminal cases against former FBI Director Letitia James former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. A judge dismissed both of these cases as a result. The U.S. attorneys serving Nevada and Central District of California were also found to be serving illegally. The indictments against the defendants in those cases, including the ones challenging Habba, were not thrown out because other prosecutors were involved in the cases. Habba is the first to resign her position. The court rulings have left some prosecutors unsure of how to move forward in these cases. In New Jersey, after the appointment was initially challenged this summer, sentencing plea deals and trial dates were placed on hold. The gears loosened, and now the new cases were filed and new indictments were returned. Now, in addition to Habba's signature, they also included the signature of Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, so they're trying to find their way around it. I will point out the effort to re-indict James Comey has initially failed, and I believe that there was reporting saying the same thing about Letitia James. So those particular prosecutions have thus far failed. There you have it, folks. Alina Habba and Donald Trump throwing in the towel, admitting defeat in the face of multiple court rulings against them. But never underestimate this administration's ability and instinct to act unlawfully. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.